project is an innovative solutions for supporting Sustainable Development Goal 6, universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water. We should be going beyond only Dhaka territory, because water is not only for Dhaka, it's rather for entire country. Future is bright for Drinkwell and Robi if we can work properly together in the days to come.
I was sinking in my seat as Dr. Kaikis was talking, because he might have insinuated that that was the last thing between dinner, but it's actually me now. So I'll be quick, I promise. But it's a real, well, first of all, protocols observed, and I would say that it's a real honor to be celebrating 50 years of friendship between the US and Bangladesh. Truth be told, Drinkwell wouldn't exist if it wouldn't be for this kind of partnership between Bangladesh and the US. Growing up in Dallas, as a Bangladeshi American, I was preconditioned to the Dell mindset. That means doctor, engineer, lawyer, or loser. And so I went for the first doctor. So I shifted to Maryland, went to Johns Hopkins. But then on campus, I actually found that there were more Hopkins alumni, I'm kidding you not, in Bangladesh than Baltimore, working in public health. And much to the dismay of my parents, my mom's here tonight, I ended up doing a Fulbright, supported by the State Department, on willingness to pay for clean water after college. So did not go the med school route, and went from Bhubaneswar to Dowkhandi, Manikganj to Mujibnagar, loved the hospitality of the people, found some Fulbrighters who were from the US to India, and we decided to found Drinkwell. The rest they say is history. USAID gave us a grant in 2014. 5 years later, through USAID support of the Global Innovation Fund in partnership with Unilever, gave us our first institutional round of investment. They were co-investors with Danone Communities, an existing investor, TPG Growth, from the RISE Fund. And in Bangladesh and India, we've deployed about 500 of these ATMs. In Bangladesh alone, we work with Takawasa, Chittagong Wasa, Rajshahi City Corporation, created over 400 jobs, we do over 40 million liters a month, giving over 700,000 people safe water. Now, Honorable Minister Alam is on the board of P4G. Earlier this year, we announced a partnership with the World Bank to deploy 2,000 systems to impact 100 million people by 2030 in partnership. And what we really found is a lot of questions coming my way from my friends in the US saying, why do you work in Bangladesh? And I think the past 2 days make answering that question extremely easy. So yesterday we had the honor of meeting Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, and he gave a very profound story to kick off the conversation. So we were in the Foreign Service Academy, and he was sharing this story about how when he was little, there was a construction of a wooden building, when typically there's concrete building. And he would always play in those fields. And so he asked, what's being built out of wood? And turns out it was a place for the Queen to stay in when she would visit. And sure enough, when the Queen came, he had the honor of presenting her with a bouquet of flowers. So decades later, when he did an official visit to London to visit the Queen, he shared this story, and the Queen asked him to stay back after the meeting. And when he told the Queen that you came to Bangladesh and I gave you a bouquet of flowers, the Queen corrected him and said, no, actually it was East Pakistan. That's how sharp she remains. And so last night I was telling the story to my mom, and it was an inspirational story, and then she actually reminded me of something that I forgot. There was this photo that she told me that exists from 1995. And that's when the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina came to Dallas. And she was saying that I had the privilege of welcoming the Honorable Prime Minister to Dallas with a bouquet of flowers. So there wasn't enough time because we met the Honorable Prime Minister this morning. So thank you, Hotel Business Center, for printing out a quick color photo. I kind of raffled it up and folded it with creases in my suit pocket. But this morning, I showed her the photo as I was introducing myself. And you could see her smile through her mask. She was so moved by just the story. And after our exchange, after the meeting, I had a chance to have a personal exchange with her. And she genuinely was so happy to see that kind of a photo. She actually insisted her ADC to get an original copy to talk about an unexpected action item from this delegation. I think, what that kind of at our core taught me was what we all really want is that human person-to-person connection. And that's what really has me continue to work here in Bangladesh. It's that when you have that kind of hospitality, that trust, that's kind of table stakes for business. And now I'd actually like to invite the Takawasa Managing Director, Mr. Taksim A. Khan, to speak about his reflections on the partnership that we've had together.
Thank you very much. No, I don't like to speak much. One of the things that I want to introduce this young guy who is working with us, Dhaka Wasa. As many of you do not know it, that Dhaka Wasa is the largest water utility in the public sector of the world, serving 20 million people. And not only that, sometimes when we go out and I say that we are serving a city of 20 million people, people sometimes confuse and say, oh, this guy doesn't know, it's a 2 billion. So I have to say, in European countries, that I'm serving a city which is equivalent to Austria and Switzerland together. That's a city. And in the grace of Almighty Allah, that we do have 24/7 water. And Dhaka Wasa Asian Development Bank is one of the leading water utility in South Asia, with some of the good indexes like the NRW, non-revenue water, which is almost all the neighboring cities have more than 30-40%, and Dhaka Wasa does have a 5%, less than 10, which none of the Asian cities have except the Singapore and Tokyo. That of course we can't compare with us. And at the same time, we have a lot of other things by which the Asian Development Bank is now duplicating the success of Dhaka Wasa with many other neighboring cities. And we are in the innovation. And one of the innovation is this young guy, this young boy from United States of America, who is serving here. And through him, through his company Drink Well, we are giving water to the low-income community, the pure water to the low-income community, and 700,000 people are being benefited in Dhaka city through this Drink Well. So I'd like to congratulate this young man for serving Bangladesh, and it's a testimony of the partnership between Bangladesh and US. So in this eve of 50 years of diplomatic relation and trade relation of US and Bangladesh, I'd like to congratulate him on behalf of everybody. Thank you very much. I know he has another, do you have that one? Sure. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Ambassador Haas, I hate to do this to you, but one thing that we did want to do tonight is announce a new initiative. So during COVID, Dhaka Wasa and Jerngold partnered to deploy 230 hand washing stations free of cost to the low-income consumers all across Dhaka. Now that post-COVID, schools are opening up, and just to further reinforce the point of more Hopkins alumni in Bangladesh than Baltimore, the Education Minister, Dr. Deepu Moni, is also a Hopkins alum. What we found is that of our 221 water ATMs, 58 are located near government primary schools. So what we're going to do is actually, truth be told, a little personal story. In September 2020, I lost my Nanu and Nana to COVID. And then in October 2020, I lost my dad. And so as Ramadan finished, there's this notion of Sadaqah Jariyah. And so in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and there were a lot of families in Dallas specifically that lost loved ones. So we all came together to fundraise to be able to support these schools that are just opening up, helping them get back on their feet. And we're really excited to today announce that we can have 58 schools benefit from free safe water as we're resuming operations. And we'd love to invite you, Ambassador Haas, to unveil what these cards will look like that we're going to give to the schools.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. We now request both of you to stay back on stage. Paksam Bhai, we request you to stay back on stage as well. May I request Kevin Green to come up on stage to hand over the memento. Ladies and gentlemen, while the dinner has already been served, but we do have a very special band performing tonight, so stay